Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the WEC Championship on Project Cars 2. We are getting ready for a start here at Austin, Texas for round 6 of the WEC Replica Championship on LPB Racing. TY on pole position then from Callum, Bidzster in third, so not a good qualifying for him. As we're off, TY gets left behind at the start and off everyone else goes. Callum defends from Bidzster into the first corner. Into the first corner we go. Callum, Bidzster, Stevie, Neil, and TY's gone really backwards. I think he must have some kind of lag issue here. Yes, he's pulling off because I think he's got some kind of lag issue. As the GTE boys come round the first corner as well, all in order as we go through the left right section with Bidzster and Stevie. Stevie passes Bidzster, Bidzster goes wide. So Stevie into second place then in class. As in GTE, all very close. We've got Footman leading the way from Stacker, Arzadar, Growly Bear and Keith, so all very close together in that class as well. Pit window in this one is in between laps 7 and 14. As little Growly Bear makes a little mistake there. Growly Bear makes a little mistake and goes back. Keith passes him around the outside. Goes onto the straight. Go the LMPs. Callum's being caught by Stevie here. RWD versus RWD. Down to the end of the straight. Into this tight left-hander that's about 90 degrees. Bidzster closes right up as well. Callum gets mugged by Bidzster as well, so Callum slow out the corner. Bidzster hot-footed it past him on the hybrid power, and now into the tight twisty section. We've got Bidzster and Stevie fighting it out for the overall lead in LMP1. We go towards the fast section. Both very close indeed. But Bidzster can't get past Stevie yet as Footman and TY's working his way through the GTE boys as Blakeney leads in GTE. Blakeney takes the lead in the Aston Martin, so the Aston Martin going very well here. A lot better than expected. Meanwhile there's Stacker and Keith. They're close together as well. It's a very close battle with the two Porsches. On to the second to last corner then. As Keith has a little look, Stacker goes a bit wide, leaving the door open, but Keith doesn't go for it there. As Growly closes up now. As Keith very late on the brakes into the last corner, and then onto the straight they go. As TY's just past the GTE boys, and Bidzster is still right behind Stevie with Callum approaching as well. As we look at Keith here. Keith very late on the brakes. Thought we were going for the inside then, but obviously not. So Keith thought he was going for the inside, but doesn't go for it in the end. Meanwhile, Bidzster and Stevie very close together as we go down towards the hairpin that leads to the straight. So it's Stevie from Bidzster from Callum as the Toyota Hybrid gets on with it, but again the RWD slightly better on acceleration at the top end because it has more hybrid power to use. But the Toyota now dominating the draft. Again, no way through. Stevie holds his ground. So good to see. Oh, almost a little nudge there, almost. But luckily got away with it. Into these tight, twisty corners. Will Bidzster go for it? Will he sense a gap? Or will he not be able to do it as we go into this section here? Both go a little bit wider into the corner. Stevie's gone very wide. Stevie's gone very wide and left himself vulnerable to Bidzster, who's on the outside. There's a little bit of lag contact there as Stevie lags into the side of Bidzster, but gets going again, so obviously that can't be helped. We can't help lag in these situations as Bidzster hits the curb and throws the car sideways. Oh, good recovery there. As we go into the second to last corner then, as we look back at Stacker, who's under pressure from Keith and Growly still, so Stacker doing well in this one, but just under pressure from Keith and Growly, who are itching to get past. As we've got Arzadar a bit further up, he's battling with Blakeney. Yes! Oh, there's been an incident! Blake and Arzadar, there's been some kind of incident there, so we'll get a replay on that. Okay guys, here's a replay of some of the action that happened in the GTE field on the first lap. So, in towards turn 1, we can see you into here, so Arzadar blade hits the side of Footman there, spins him round, bang bang. Then Keith gets involved as well. Give me a bit of interest in this. And then they all go down to the next section. So there was a bit of contact at the first corner there between them lot. Okay, here's a replay of what happened between Blakeney and Arzadar. So Blakeney goes a bit wide, Arzadar goes to the inside, he has a right to do so. Blakeney does come across on him and then spins himself around, so that was actually Blakeney for squeezing Arzadar there. And then just about rejoins in front of the Porsches, so yeah, Blakeney takes himself down to 8th place. So as we come back from that then, we look at Stacker in the Porsche, followed by Keith in the other Porsche. They are not teammates, let me tell you that now. They are in, obviously the teammates are split over the two divisions, the LMP one and the GTE, so the faster guys are in the, or should I say the Division A guys are in the faster cars for race 1, and Division B guys are in the fast cars for race 2. So as Keith gets a good run here, so he'll be in the draft of Stacker. He might even go for a move into the first corner here. So let's have a look. He's in the draft. Will he pull out and make a move, or will he stay put? He's going to go to the inside. Keith's going for it. He's on the inside. He's on the inside, and then, oh, there's a little bit of contact, and oh, a little bit of wheel rubbing there as Growly thinks, thank you very much, boys. I'll take that. As he goes through, down towards the left-right section, as Stacker leans on Keith. As Keith's got the right of way line here, but Stacker hits him. He must have gone off the track and then hit him, and he's took both of them out. So both of them end up spinning round. So we'll get a replay on what happened with those two there. But look at them rejoining. Oh, close stuff. But we'll just get that replay in now. Okay, here's a replay of the Keith Stacker incident on board with Keith. So looking to hear, Keith goes well at the inside, he's well alongside, but Stacker keeps to his racing line and then just squeezes Keith onto the curb, which then makes Keith hit Stacker. So Stacker actually squeezing Keith there off the road. And as we go down here, Growly takes advantage. Keith still stays to the left, and then Stacker tries to come on the outside. And Keith's got the line here, and then Stacker goes off the track and then hits Keith in the back end, spinning him into the wall. So that was Stacker's fault for both of them incidents, because he didn't give enough space. So as we come back from that then, so Stacker not leaving much room for Keith to play with there in both situations, and which ended up with them both being took out a bit. So I would imagine Stacker will have to watch out for some kind of penalty or something, but we'll see when it comes to the end of the race. As we've got Bidzster and Stevie now still very close together, as Bidzster's going for a move here, but he's alongside. But look at the extra hybrid power that the RWD gets in a straight line. But Bidzster on the inside into the corner, then Bidzster takes the lead on the inside. Stevie nowhere to go, so Bidzster in the lead. So well done, Bidzster gets the lead, Stevie back down a second, Callum in third in hot pursuit of those two. Neil in fourth in class. And then we've got TY back in fifth after those lag issues at first. Hopefully we'll be able to redeem something from this race. Then we've got Arzadar there in 7th place. Blakeney in 8th in the Aston Martin, so doing very well in the Aston Martin. There is Blakeney. And then we've got Growly Bear there in 9th place in the Ford GT. Keith into 10th place in the Porsche. And well, not into, well, down to 10th place because of the Stacker incident, and a bit of lag there, a bit on the AstroTurf as well. And then we've got Stacker in the background as well there, and Bradders here. Bradders is obviously disconnected from the race, so Bradders unlucky there, disconnects from the race. As Bidzster and Stevie side by side into the corner at the end of the straight, but look in Bidster's favour. So the Toyota's got a lot of hybrid power, but the thing is, it's instant power, but it doesn't last very long. So the thing is, it's very hard to charge the battery as well. As Stevie goes for the inside, bang, hits Bidzster in the side, but this time Stevie's learned his lesson from last race. He waits for Bidzster to rejoin and then goes. So yeah, Stevie learning his lesson to wait for the car when he hits him. So well done to Stevie there, and good to go for the move, but just a bit over ambitious and probably just missed his braking point, but he does let Bidzster go, so that is all good. So well done to Stevie there, good fair racing, that's what we like to see at LPB racing. There's Neil Farmack there in 4th position in the Marek, not having a good one in this one. Apparently he's having trouble with the force feedback settings on his wheel, can't seem to get anything to work with the new Fanatec wheel he's got. So if anyone wants to leave any comments on the video just trying to help him out, then they'll be passed on to him. So yeah, he's got a new Fanatec wheel, and it'd be nice to get some setups for project cars that would work for it. And there's TY, obviously his setup problem is nothing to do with the wheel or the controller he's using, it's to do with the internet. It's the bit of lag here or there, so TY doing the sensible stuff at the start of the race, just backing off and letting everyone else go, just because of the lag, didn't want to impede anyone's race. So good on TY, he slows up a bit there for some reason, but gets back going again. As Arzadar is in the lead of the GTE, Footman's gone back down to 3rd in class now. So Footman's gone off and he's side by side with Blake now as we go towards the long right-hander. He's trying to go right round the outside of Blake here. Oh, this is going to be a good move if you can pull it off. Right round the outside, bit of lag there, but gets it done and goes right round the outside of Blake and sets him up for the next corner. So brilliant move there by Footman, but we'll just get a replay in now to see what actually happened to him. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Footman. So he goes around this corner here, hits the curb, loses the back end, and then straight into the wall where our camera is. So then we go, he gets it turned round and then gets going, where it just shows you one mistake can make you lose a couple of positions. So as we come back from that replay then, there's Keith in 10th place on his own now. So Keith running in 10th and Stacker back in 11th place. So not a good race for Stacker here. Oh, he's spun round. So Stacker obviously still probably a bit peed off about those incidents earlier, but that wasn't anything to do with Keith. That was Stacker's not giving him enough room. As Bidzster comes through, they're in the lead to lap him. So Bidzster in the lead, lapping him now. Stevie back into the hands of Callum now. So Stevie back into the hands of the other RWD of Callum. Remember, not teammates, because the teammates are situated between the different classes. So we've got Stevie and Footman who are teammates. We've got Bidzster and Stacker, Neil and RZR, TY and Blakeney, and then Growley and Callum. Unfortunately, Keith's teammate James Deluxe has not been here for a couple of weeks. So hopefully James Deluxe will be able to appear for the next week's one, which will be the last one at Fuji Speedway, which will be really good to see. And expect a few mixed conditions in that one as we look at RZR Blade in 6th. Yep, so expect some mixed conditions at Fuji, because it is Fuji, and usually at Fuji it rains. So Japanese weather for you as Keith there. Oh, passing Blakeney, so obviously Blakeney's had another moment somewhere, so Blakeney's gone off. We'll get a replay on that. So Blakeney there in 10th place as we come back from that replay. So in 10th place behind Keith now. So falls back down the order ever slightly as Footman now is in the wall. Footman into the wall. So I would imagine that's something controller-wise that's gone wrong, because it's strange for him to go off like that. And look, he's not finding a gear, he's not rejoining. So definitely some kind of problem there for Footman. So we'll get a replay on what happened there. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Footman then. So comes in towards this next corner, and then all of a sudden he'll go into the corner, and then all of a sudden the controller disconnects, and then straight off into the gravel and into the wall. So unlucky for Footman there. So as you come back from that then, Footman is still there and he's still trying to get going. He's apparently his controller has disconnected itself, which is not good news, but it's good news for Bidzster in the other class, because he's in the lead. So this could be some points took down from Bidzster. So I have actually noticed a flaw in the point system, unfortunately, for this championship, but what it is because we've not had James Deluxe turning up, it's been odd numbers between the different classes. So for example, if Bidzster wins this one and then he wins the so if Bidzster wins now and then he doesn't finish as high in the GTE one, he'll not get as many points. So it's it's not the best example. I do know what the example is. It's just trying to think on it and get direct and commentate on these replays at the same time. So I'll come back round on the horn to that later as Keith goes through the S's. So we're getting a lot of lag here. So I don't know whether that's my system or it's just the actual replay itself. But a lot of lag there as we've got Callum and Stevie trying to cut the way through the traffic now. So as Blakey goes off. So Stevie and Blake have had some kind of coming together there. So we'll get a replay on that. Okay, here's a replay of that now on board with Stevie. So we're looking here, we go around this section, see Blakey just goes wide there on normally, and then Stevie actually makes a mistake going around the outside of Blakey, so they actually both did their own separate incidents at the same time. As we come back from that then, Callum into second place in class then. So Callum up to second, Stevie down to third, so not good news for Stevie there. As Bidzster, where's Bidzster? There's the camera trying to get a pick on him. There he is, just coming out the hairpin. So there's Callum just coming out the hairpin as well. So 4-second gap. It's a decent enough gap, but it could be better. As RZR Blade there at the end of the straight, he is leading the GTE class. So well done to RZR, he's leading the class. The Corvette doing quite well around here so far. Obviously I know we had the demise of Footman earlier on, but I do have to say that Footman is going again now. So Footman is going, but he's got 19 seconds to the next person in class. So he's last in class at the minute, because Bradders is obviously not there, he's disconnected. As we look at Growley, he's ahead of Keith by 1.2 seconds, and he's now got Stevie bearing down on him. So Stevie goes round there, just nice and gentle. So the GT cars, remember, do have right of way when it comes to the traffic, so the LMP ones have to wait behind because the GT cars are entitled to their racing line. So Bidzster goes through then onto lap 8. Across the line, wait for it to tick over at the top of the screen. There we go, lap 8 for Bidzster into the first corner. Nicely out of there. Oh, Bidzster's lost it, he's gone round. Bidzster's gone right round, he's facing backwards now. Down the hill, he's facing backwards. This is not good news as Stevie goes through as well. Callum's gone through. Bidzster will be kicking himself as he gets the car turned round and gets on with it, but he will not be a happy boy under that helmet. Yeah, just came out the corner, put the power down too early and got into a big tank slapper and spun it. So Bidzster now will have to be getting his head down and try and catch up. So I should also mention the LMP1 pit lane window is open, and so is the GTE cars as well. So all the pit lanes now open, so we'll have to watch out for people diving into the pit. So remember, tyre degradation is quite high on this track, so a lot of people are struggling with tyre wear in this one. So we'll have to see if that's going to be a big alteration of the race. There goes Blakeney through. And there's Bidzster after his spin. He's got to get his head down now. He's repassed RZR Blade. And then chasing now after Stevie. As there's RZR Blade. And let's have a look back. We've got Keith there with Growly Bear in front of Keith. But Keith closing in a bit here. So Keith closing in on Growly Bear here. As we go out of there, and we've got Neil closing up in the Marek, so Neil's going to quickly dip down the inside of Keith. So well done there to them. As we go into the next few corners, there's Keith just ahead. Again, a bit more lag there, but it's probably just the replay. As we look at Growly Bear then, and he's got Neil Farmack bearing down on him. Has any of the front runners pitted yet? No. Callum, Stevie and Bidzster go round Neil. Will he pit this lap? He's got to try and pass Growly now, but Growly again, remember, has got the right of way when it comes to the racing line. So Neil goes, or tries to go up the inside, but he's going to wait for the straight, then he'll definitely be able to power past. Wait for it, get the... Growly, you don't need to move out of the way, stay on line, Growly, you don't need to move out of the way, the LMP1 cars will go offline and get past you. So there's TY, he's actually catching Neil Farmer now, he's only 10 seconds behind Neil, so TY's really been on it here. So TY on the move in the Toyota. So RZR Blade in the lead of GTE. Growly Bear in second, closely followed by Keith under a second behind. Then we've got Blakeney 8 seconds back in GTE. Then we've got Stacker on his own in 10th place. Footman only 13 seconds behind, so Footman obviously still trying to recover from the moment he had earlier with the disconnection of the controller, so not good for that. As we look at Callum then in the lead. So nicely through there. He's got a 5-second gap over Stevie now, so he's pulled out a bit of a gap over Stevie. So again, we've got to watch for people pitting, so I am going to skim through the cameras a little bit as we get towards the line. There's RZR Blade, he's round here somewhere, there he is, onto the straight. So RZR Blade onto there. Let's have a see if Growly and Keith are any closer. I think the gap's going to be more or less the same, yes it is. So Keith still in the draft of Growly but can't get away through. As we should see TY come into shot in a minute. He's going to be powering past in the Toyota. There he is. So he's passing Keith, and then he'll not get past Growly before the braking point. He'll have to get past him in this complex section. So I would imagine he'll do a quick squirt of the hybrid power out of here and just go straight through just before the next corner. Nicely done by TY. And that's how you get through traffic. So TY back into properly 5th place. Go out of here now, so he's let's have a look at the gap then. So TY has got 9 seconds to Neil Farmack, so it's still more or less the same gap because they both had traffic. So let's see if anyone else has pitted yet. So Callum no, Stevie no, Bidzster no, Neil no, he's not pitting yet. Will TY come in this time? No. So all the LMP1 cars go round. Let's see if any of the GT boys are going in. So RZR goes round, Growly Bear and Keith, they both go round as well. Will Blakeney go in this time? Runs a bit wide there, Blakeney. Got to be careful of the track limits there. That could be an extra little bit of time added on, so we'll see. But Blakeney goes through there in 9th place. Footman back in 10th, and Stacker's in 11th place. So He's either gone off or pitted, so I would imagine Stacker would have pitted early, so Stacker probably pitted already. Let's look back to the LMP1 boys. Callum on the move, 4.8 seconds. Again, there's a lot of lag in this replay, I do apologise, but it's just how it is at the minute, unfortunately. It's just how it's happening. As there's Stevie, second place, 3 seconds now to Bidzster, so Bidzster is closing now. Bidzster is closing that gap down lap after lap, so Bidzster on the move. Will any one of these LMP1 boys pit this lap? Callum, no, he goes round. Stevie, will he pit this time? He's just past Footman. Nope, Stevie goes round, and I would imagine Bidzster will go round with him as well. Yes, he will. So Bidzster's now about to lap Footman, who's in 10th overall and 5th in class. So Bidzster goes through. And up the rise, 2 seconds now behind Stevie. You can visually see him now, so he'll be trying to reel him in the best he can. As Neil Farmack goes through here, was Neil Farmack going to go in the pits? No, Neil Farmack doesn't bother. TY is going to be next. Go around the second to last corner. Ooh, go watch the track limits though, really on the limit, but no pit for TY yet either, so that's still there. There's the gap between Bidzster and Stevie. Still more or less staying the same now, so it looks like Stevie's responding to Bidzster's pace at the minute. So Stevie responding as we go on to the straight then. Bidzster gets a little bit of a slide on there and then out of the corner, down the straight. So everyone a bit more spread out in this at the minute, but still, anything can happen. It is motorsport. As Keith and Growly Bear, still the same gap between them. None of them pitting yet. As Blakeney goes through here, is Blakeney in the pits? No, he's not. He goes round again as well. And then we've got Footman. He's all the way back on the straight, so Footman has got a big gap to try and catch up here. So going to be hard work for him as Callum goes round the long turn right, the right turn, which reminds us of the infamous turn 8 at Istanbul, but just the other way around. As Callum goes round here then. Callum is in the pits, so Callum comes into the pits, lap 11, into the pits. The pit window closes on 14, just about gets the car slowed down in time. Stevie is going to go round. Stevie's going round and Bidzster's going round with him as well, so Callum in early then. Neil Farmack comes through there in 4th, so yep, Callum definitely down the pit lane now, and he's going to pull into his box. There we go, pulls into his box for his service. So will Neil pit this time? Let's have a... We'll see if Neil's going to pit as we just look back at Growly Bear and Keith, who are 2/10 apart here. Come on, camera. There they are. Very close together this time. As Keith in the draft in the Porsche. He's going to move out to the left to have a little go. Will he have a go at the inside? He's definitely alongside him. Just about maybe, but no, he's going to stay behind. Not going to do it just yet. As they go into the stadium section. So Callum comes down the pit lane then. Neil goes round. So Neil's gone ahead of Callum for now, but Callum out the pits. And TY goes through as well. There's Growly Bear and Keith still very close together, half second in it. Oh, Keith runs a bit wide there though. That's going to help Growly Bear pull away a little bit. You can see the time extending at the top. As the Growly Bear goes around there, but that's where the Porsche is quite good as well. As our blade goes round, will Growly or Keith pit this lap? Let's have a look. Growly's coming in. Growly's coming into the pits, and is Keith going to follow him? Yes, he is. Keith's going to follow him, so the battle goes to the pit lane. Ford versus Porsche, as they both slow down way before the line, so that's good. Not speeding into the pit lane. As we go down the pit lane then, so Stevie here. Will Stevie come in this lap? Bidzster's right behind him. He's 1.7 seconds behind, so within visual range here. Will Stevie pit this lap? Yes, he does. Will Bidzster pit and follow him? No. Bidzster's going to go around and do one hot lap and try and gain some time. So Bidzster goes round then. So Bidzster on the hot foot now. There's Growly and there's Keith. It's going to come out the pit lane. It's going to be close. Yeah, it's Growly in front of Keith. So there they are. So Growly is ahead of Keith out the pit lane. There's Stevie getting service there. Neil Farmack coming round then with Callum in hot pursuit here. Where's Stevie? Stevie's in the pit lane then. So Callum coming round And Neil goes into the pits, so Neil into the pits now as Callum comes down the start-finish line. Stevie's just coming out of his box. Callum will definitely get the lead here. We'll be able to see Stevie in the pit lane in a minute. There he is. So Callum takes the lead back, or takes the theoretical lead back once Bidzster makes his pit stop. So will Bidzster come in this lap? Bidzster is round here somewhere, he's probably on the back straight. There's Stevie, so he comes out behind Callum. TY into third place, but again I don't think TY's pitted yet either, so TY behind Footman now as Bidzster comes down the straight then, so Bidzster's got to get on with it here. Going to be a really good in lap for Bidzster, because I would imagine he'd be in this lap because it's lap 14 when it ends, so he's got this lap or one more to actually do his pit stop. Or as it runs a bit wide there as he goes into the stadium section then, so Callum theoretical lead in the race. TY getting around Footman then, with Stevie following behind. Again, TY's not pitted yet, so don't forget that as TY runs a bit wide there. Footman in the way of Stevie here, but Stevie will go around him. There he goes. Neil's come out of the pits then in 5th position. Arzadar Blade's in now for the GT class. Arzadar Blade goes in, and then Bidzster's in as well. So Bidzster passes Blakeney and goes straight into the pits. So Blakeney now on the move here. So Arzadar in the pits. Blakeney will have to pit this lap. So no, sorry, they are a few laps behind. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up because it's the LMPs that are running down the pit window. So Callum's coming round here. So Arzadar Blade goes out the pit lane. Then Keith is in 8th at the minute. Again, we'll get a reconfirmation of the order once lap 15 starts, because then all the pit lane will have shut as Growly Bear's off the track there. So Growly Bear off. Was the contact with Keith or was that on his own? We'll get a replay. Okay, here's the replay. What happened to Growler then? So he's coming around that long right-hander and then just goes wide, loses the back end of the car, and Keith lucky to avoid him there, and then everyone else going around him. And just as we go to that replay, we see Stevie with the biggest slide of your life that you've ever seen. Whoa, we'll just get a replay on that because that was spectacular. Okay, now let's have a look at Stevie's magnificent drift. They got him a 10 out of 10 onto the curb, drifts round, and just about keeps the car going and takes out the board while he's at it. So good car control there by Stevie. As we come back from that then, TY into the pits then for LMP1, so TY in the pits. Bidzster's coming out of the pits then. Callum's gone through. Where's Stevie in relation to Bidzster? Stevie's got him, but Bidzster is closer. Bidzster is now 1.5 seconds behind. It was 2 seconds before, so he's pushed a good half a second in on Stevie on that fast in lap. So now he needs to keep with him and see if he can take second place back. As he goes a bit off the track there, but he's slowed down. And look, the gap's gone up to 2 seconds now, so he definitely lost time there. As we look back at TY, he's coming down the exit of the pit lane then. There goes Neil Farmack, so this actually could be quite close between TY and Neil here. Neil coming down the start finish straight, TY coming towards the end of the pit lane. And Neil just gets him, so Neil gets ahead of TY, but TY is visually a lot closer than he was before. TY within 2 seconds of Neil Farmack now, well in fact no, 3 seconds once he gets going. So 3 seconds to Neil Farmack then. We'll see what's to be done later on. So remember, it's lap 14 when the pit window ends, so all the LMP1 boys have been into the pits. I definitely know that now. So all the LMP1 boys have pitted, so their pit lane window will close at the end of this lap. Blakeney going around here in 6th place. He's the leader at the minute because he's not pitted yet. So, and I think with the line he's taken, I think he is going into the pits, and yes he is. So Blakeney goes into the pits then on lap 12 for the GT boys. Gets that car slowed down, watches for the red cones, 37 miles an hour, and over the line there. As Arzadar Blade then will come through to take the lead back in GTE in the Corvette. Then we've got Keith in 8th place in the Porsche, still circulating round, doing well. And then we've got Growly Bear 10 seconds behind now after that spin we saw earlier. Footman is only 2 seconds behind Growly Bear now, so Footman making hay with everything. And Stacker having an awful race back here. He's 50 seconds behind his fellow classmates here, so Stacker not having an enjoyable race in this one, so hopefully he'll be able to fight back in the next race, or if not the next race, Fuji. So hopefully all the best to him. As we look at Callum then in the lead of this race then, given a gift by Bidzster, because Bidzster spun it on lap 7, giving Callum and Stevie the first and second that they have now. So Bidzster giving Callum a little present there, and Callum's 7.5 seconds in front of Stevie, who's then 3.5 seconds in front of Bidzster now, so Stevie pulling a little gap on Bidzster here, so Bidzster must have made a little mistake or two. As we look back here then, so Arzadar Blade in the lead of GTE. There he goes towards the hairpin onto the back straight. There's Bidzster in front of him, just past him. Then we've got Keith in 7th place here. So Keith in 7th. Again, we'll reconfirm the result, the positions once lap 14 is over, once we start lap 15, because then we'll definitely know the order. But the definite order for the LMP1 then after the pit stop is Callum from Stevie, Bidzster, Neil and TY. So that is the order as Callum goes through the long right-hander and then now towards the second to last corner, which can catch a lot of people out, especially on the outside there, but Callum takes it like a pro. And forever the Callum consistent banks goes through in the lead as we've got Stevie in 2nd place. He goes through again, no dramas for Stevie in this one, and Bidzster a few dramas earlier on and drifts that car out that corner, still pushing very hard. Neil not doing bad, having said he's got really rubbish wheel settings on this one, so he can't really feel what the car's doing properly. So hats off to Neil for giving it effort and trying. So like I said earlier, if anyone knows any combinations that will work for a Fanatec wheel on Project Cars 2, please leave it in the comments. I'm sure Neil will pick it up. And then we've got TY in 5th place in LMP1. Good job to him. There we go through here. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier about the different classes with the points and that, because obviously the point system at the minute doesn't really work, because for example, because it's me and Bidzster and Footman who are battling out. If Bidzster wins both his races, he won't get as many points as Footman, because Footman's got an extra person in his class, so he actually gets another place higher up. So because there's one less person in the Division A, that means when Footman wins his, if he won the GTE class in his, he would be one place higher than Bidzster would be when he does it. So for example, Footman could get a 6th place, but then Bidzster wouldn't get anything more than a 7th place, so that's not really helped with the point situation this season. But still, hats off to Footman, because he's done a very good job to do it, because it's even without that little flaw in the championship, Bidzster has thrown away a few little errors here and there this championship, as Footman's kept it consistent. But the next multi-class championship, it will be 2 different points. The 2 different divisions will have their own separate point system, so then it's fair between the 2 classes. And then what we'll do is we'll still have a combined one running at the same time, but we'll also have the 2 separate ones for the separate divisions, so it makes it a bit more fair when it comes to the points. Because if someone else drops out of your class, you've still got a good chance of getting some decent points. And it equalises it out as well, which is the main thing. So as we look at Footman then making his way through the field, so Blakeney is being passed by Footman, so Footman back into 3rd in class now. So Footman doing very well here. So Bidzster 3rd in class, Footman 3rd in class. So they still can't seem to trump each other in this championship. Both very, very even this season. As Footman comes around then, so the lap 14, this is the last lap for anyone who's not pitted in GT to pit. So Arzadar goes through, he's definitely done his pit stops. Keith definitely did his earlier, so did Footman. So Footman goes, Footman in now. So Footman goes in the pits now. So Footman into the pit lane. So Footman into the pits. So he takes his pit stop at the very last lap that you can do so. As Blakeney then will come through. So Footman will go a bit further down the order now. So Blakeney goes back into 3rd in class. And then Growly Bear goes through, he'll go through to 4th in class. Footman will go back down to 5th in class. So Footman, there he is in his pit box, just having his service done, his tyres changed, etc. And Stacker there, 50 seconds behind still. So at least he's keeping the gap consistent, but still quite a gap down. As there's Callum, 8 seconds in the lead of LMP1, showing us all how to do it. So good job there by Callum. As Stevie comes round here, he's still 3 seconds to Bidzster, so Bidzster pulled it in by a second. So it was 4 seconds the last time we looked, it's now down to 3. So, and Stevie makes a little error there, so that could be the difference as well. As Bidzster goes through that last corner as well, perfect, out of the corner. And down over the start, finish straight to start his laps, 18 as well. And we've got TY, who's at 20 seconds behind Neil now, so after the pit stop. But again, TY not doing too bad, even though he did have the lag at first. As Blakeney has gone off there, Blakeney goes off, so Growly Bear can now see him. So Blakeney makes it a bit easier for Growly Bear there, so the gap goes down to 2 seconds, just about. And then Footman, who was out of the pit lane, he's got 23 seconds to try and catch up to Growly Bear now, so he's got the work to do. There's Footman, as he didn't help with his wheel disconnecting earlier. As his teammate comes up behind him and passes him on the inside, Footman just gives him a bit more space. And Stevie goes over the inside curb and gets him and down the straight. So Bidzster now closing up to Footman, but Bidzster should be able to get Footman on the straight. Hopefully anyway. As we look at Bidzster there, let's go on board with Bidzster and have a look at the closing speed. There we go. Right past Footman there. Then down to the next corner. So good job there by Bidzster, gets through nice and clean. Footman didn't really have to do anything there. And then we go out of here, so the gap is down to 2 seconds now from 2.5, so still very close gap there. So Bidzster still trying to do everything he can to try and close in on Stevie here. So a good battle there, and also a good battle here with Growly Bear and Blakeney. So Blakeney's just ahead there in the Aston Martin. There he is, going a really good race here for Blakeney, much better than the other races this season. So Blakeney goes through there, and then back there's Growly Bear. So same camera shot more or less. 3 seconds between them two. So Arzadar then in the lead of GTE, doing very well in the lead of GTE at the moment. So very well done there to Arzadar Blade so far. 19 seconds ahead of the second place guy as well. So I do have to admit, Arzadar Blade, I think even if Footman didn't make that mistake, he would have been challenged by Arzadar for definite. So Arzadar with some good pace there, should be happy with himself. As Bidzster now within 1.3 seconds of Stevie, closing in with every corner. So Bidzster is on it here. Obviously time to shred the tyres. As we look, there's Stevie just in front, so a couple of laps to go at the end of this one. As we go down the hill and then onto the hairpin which leads to the back straight. Here's the hairpin. They both go round here. And nicely out onto the straight. The Toyota will have the initial acceleration, but the RWD of Stevie will pull away near the end of the straight because of the extra hybrid power at the top end, because it lasts a lot longer. And down to the braking zone, into the complex. Still watching Bidzster and Stevie here as Bidzster slides the car out, so really trying here. Stevie goes through the complex section into this corner here. Bit wide, but gets away with it. And you can't be doing that too many times, as now he's got GTE traffic, which is not going to help his cause here as he closes right up to the back of Growly Bear. So Growly Bear's got to stay on his line, and Stevie tried to go. Oh, Stevie passes him off the track. I know that was a GTE car, but he's also forced the GTE car into a mistake because it made Growly panic there. So that could be another penalty for Stevie, so we'll have to see here. So we'll have to see at the end of the race what happens there, but that wasn't really very good. But again, we'll get some different replay angles on that just to check. Okay, here's the replay of how Stevie got round Growly then. So going on lap 19, going round here, Growly's going to go to the outside, touch the racing line, and Stevie decides, right, I'm fed up now, I'm going to pass you off the track. So then it passes him off the track, then it forces Growly into mistakes, he panicked. Okay, here's a quick view on board with Growly Bear then, so you'll see Stevie come on the left there, then we don't see him until now, then it makes us panic and makes us go offline, and then makes us half spin, so I would imagine Stevie will be penalised for that. So as we come back from them, Bidzster behind Stevie then, very, very close here, as down we go down through to the S's. Let's have a look at Keith and Blake, there's still a bit of a gap between them, so Growly Bear still back in 9th place then, so not really much change in the GTE class. So the main action at the minute between Stevie and Bidzster. There we go, Stevie goes wide, Bidzster will close right up now, and he is practically pushing that RWD out that corner. So the battle is on for second place, Stevie versus Bidzster. But remember, Stevie's quite an aggressive driver, so he will defend and he will attack for a position like his life depends on it. But again, so will Bidzster. Bidzster is known for his attacking, he's quite good for his attacking, but also Bidzster obviously the king of defence, but he's having to pull out the attacking card at the minute. So let's see what happens here between these two. So they're approaching one of the Porsches, that's Keith. Bidzster closes up under brakes, and Toyota very good on the brakes. And Stevie down passes Keith on the inside, gets it just past him before the corner. Bidzster has to wait. So Bidzster has to wait, but Bidzster, sneakily nips up the inside of Keith before he could take his apex. So good job there by Bidzster, because it still lets Keith do what he needs to do. As Stevie again runs a bit wide out of that corner. Round the long right-hander. Bidzster in the turbulent air, so he's having to back off a little bit because of the turbulent air on the back of that RWD. And to come out of that corner. Onto the last corner then, which leads onto the straight. Stevie again a bit wide, but no problem. There's Callum on his last lap then. Lap 21 of 21 on his last lap. Stevie across the line with Bidzster in hot pursuit. This is the battle to watch on this last lap of the race. As Stevie runs a bit wide. Stevie runs quite wide there and then lags in front of Bidzster. As they go down to the left-right section, which reminds you of Silverstone, but at the other side, but in a completely different country. So Stevie then, a little bit wide there from Stevie as well, but again, no problem, because Bidzster's backed off a little bit as well. So clearly the RWD a lot better in that section than the Toyota. So the Toyota is more of a point and shoot at the corner kind of car. As we go down here, down towards the hairpin, Bidzster swerves left and right just to try and put Stevie off his game, but Stevie's having none of it, absorbing all the pressure that Bidzster can throw at him. As they go down the straight now, Bidzster in the draft. Will he go for a move? But again, he'll not have the top end because the hybrid, extension power of the RWD will help. As Stevie defends the inside, Bidzster goes to the outside, tries to go right round the outside of Stevie there, but no, Stevie closes the door on him as he's got the right to do so. And then, so they come down to this complex section. This could be a good passing place as Stevie runs wide. Bidzster straight up the inside. He didn't need a second invitation. Bidzster goes straight up the inside and passes Stevie on the last lap. So will he be able to retain it? But still, here's Callum. Callum with a win then. Well done to Callum. He wins. Maximum points for him in the RWD. Well done. He weaves across the line. He's happy with that. And then Stevie, well held off. But again, Bidzster gets him on the last lap, so Bidzster crosses the line to get second place. He'll want to win, but still second place for Bidzster and third for Stevie. And there's Arzadar just ahead in the Corvette. He wins the GTE class, so well done to Arzadar. Big congratulations to him, his first winning class, so well done to Arzadar. As we get Neil Farmack coming through the hairpin there. There's Arzadar Blade, he's finished. Keith's going to come through for second place in the Porsche, second place in GTE. That's a good little present for Keith there, so well done to Keith. One of his best finishes of the season so far, so well done. And we've got Blakeney coming through in third place in class in the Aston Martin. He'll be very happy with that, on the podium in the Aston Martin this season. Well done, Blake. Third place in class for you, my friend. And it's Growley in fourth for GTE. Footman is going to be fifth in GTE, so Footman doesn't score many points here. So Footman in fourth place in class. Stacker will be fifth place in class. As we look then at Neil, he's still yet to cross the line. TY within 5 seconds of him now, so TY's been very busy getting that gap down. Got it down from 19 seconds to 5, but I don't think it's going to be enough on this last lap. As we look at Neil, coming through the last few corners. About to cross the line. There he goes. Neil takes fourth place in class. Well done, Neil. Despite the wheel settings, he soldiered on. And then TY, the last finisher, who is fifth in LMP1. So well done, TY. So good finish for him. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay, guys, here's the results from that one then. So Callum takes the win in that one. Good win there for Callum. And then it is Bidzster in second place. Well done to Bidzster there for a good second place. Stevie in third as we go over the page. Then it's Neil in fourth place and TY in fifth place. I should note that Stevie did have a 5-second penalty for passing Growley off the track, but that does not affect his position. And then the winner in GT is Arzadar Blade. Well done to him. Then it's Keith in second place in class. Blake third. Well done to Blakeney in the Aston. Fourth to Growley Bear. Fifth to Footman, and Stacker in sixth place, and he does receive a 10-second penalty as well for the incident with Keith. So as we come back from that then, there is your winner in LMP1, Callum Paul Banks. Well done to him. And also your winner in GTE, as did our blade in the Corvette. So well done to those two gentlemen there. They win their respective classes, and we will see you guys for race 2 here at Austin. Take care, guys.